All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as mentioned previously, tomorrow, which is Thursday, the 7th of March, we're scheduled to have what's called a Shadow Attack Day. When we have the Shadow Attack Day and somebody actually comes in, I'm supposed to show what I'm doing and have it show on the screen. So I've got a projector they're going to show me. And last time I tried doing this, it wreaked havoc with trying to work with Teams. So I'm taking what I would normally do tomorrow and I'm breaking it up and doing it in separate lectures tonight. If the one works tomorrow with Teams, great. If it doesn't, you'll have this one to go on. So far, I did one lecture where I did problem 2, which was the bank login. I just finished the other lecture, number 6, which was the tile estimate. Now I'm going to do the Chapter 12 pretest. And what I'm actually going to do here, all right, let me close this one now and minimize that, is I'm going to file, save all, and I'm going to close this. And I'm going to bring up my I don't know where it is, but I'm going to look for it right now for my homework, which had the, I think it's under the OOP examples, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to have to find a way to pull that out of there. And nope, that's bank account. I don't want that. It's the problem here when you got so much garbage. This is the one I did yesterday. So let's, I gotta want to find it. That's not it. Boy, I'm doing great so far, aren't I? That's it, employee OOP. So I'm going to see if I can just pull this one out right here, copy it here. Now I don't have a solution file. I'm going to show you a little trick that usually works if you don't have a solution file. There's not one here, but if you click the one that says cs.csproj, it'll bring up Visual Studio. And then after you do that, I mean, everything should be up here. There it is. It's all here. All right, but what we should be able to do then is do a file, save all, and then it asks you to save this. So I'm doing that now, just clicking save, and now there is a solution file for it. All right, so the first thing I want to do is bring up this employee program class, see if I'm missing anything. I'm going to try to use the same one we had before, so let's see. We have in here first name, last name, hours worked, hourly rate, and gross pay. All right, I don't have the gross pay in here because that's something we're calculating. All right, but in here we've got first name, last name, employee number, hours worked, and hourly rate. So that's good. Then we've got our getters and setters, where if any of these string variables are empty, we're throwing a new argument exception. All right. And then we're just setting the last name to the value put in otherwise, or the first name, or the employee number. For the hours worked, we're checking to make sure that it is within range. All right, I'm going to try something here. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to try it anyway. And that is, I'm going to create some program constants. And I'm going to say public decimal min hours equals 0.00m, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to have max hours, and that is going to be equal to 84.00m, and I'm going to have min h rate, which again is going to be equal to 0.00. And finally, I'm going to have max H rate, and that's going to be equal to 99.99. Now, why am I doing this? You may have already figured it out, but now I'm able to come in here when I'm checking this stuff, and if these ever change, I'm now covered. So I'm going to say min hours and max hours here, and here I'm going to say min rate and min H rate and max H rate. All right. Now when we say they must be between these, I can actually put in my constant values. So they must be between min hours and max hours. Okay. And this one, it must be between min H rate and max H rate. Okay. So I think that cleaned it up a little bit. I made these public hoping I'm still going to be able to use those in the regular program itself. I've got a validator class in here with an is present, an is decimal, and is in 32, which I'm not using. All right, but I need, and I got an is within range. So I've got this one, even though it's not being used. That's totally fine. All right. Now, what I'm wondering here, oh, no, that should be okay the way it is. So File, Save All. I'm going to now close the validator and the employee and go to my form. Now, what we're told to do, this is different than the one that we did the other day. All right, let's see what I have done and what I've yet to do. I've got to add this stuff. All right, so I can get rid of that list box. Calculate, clear, and exit. Is present for first name and last name. Is decimal for hours worked and hourly rate. Is within range. That should all be good. Use these methods in a manner similar to the product maintenance app, but change your associated error messages to reflect them. So we've got these. We've got this. All right. I don't know if I did a calculate gross pay in my employee class, but I think I did. There it is. Calculate gross pay. So that's in there. We've even overridden and put in the toString. All right. Now that I looked at that, though, where is that? So first name, last name, space, employee number. We'll put a space there. Hours with a colon. Rate with a colon. Gross with a colon. That looks just fine to me. So File, Save All. All right. Now, I think everything through page 2 is okay. Then create a global employee list variable that looks like this. I don't know if I have that yet or not, so I'm going to copy it just in case. Every time a new employee is created, add the new employee to the employee list. All right, so I'm going to have to change this and then show this. All right, that's not a big thing. Hopefully this won't take very long. All right, so I'm going to go back to here, and we have these constants, but I'm going to try not to use them. I'm going to see if I can use the public ones that I passed in, and that I set rather in the employee class. Now there's errors here. We'll work on those in just a bit. All right. So here we have this, if value is less than hours. Oh, I'm in the employee class. I'm sorry. So File, Save All. I want to get into our actual program here. That's what I want to change. All right, now I'm going to remove these. I should say I'm going to comment them out. I shouldn't need to put them in there twice. All right, it's giving me some errors. So I'm going to try changing these to employee.min hours. It doesn't like that. All right. You've got employee.hours worked. You've got all those. It doesn't like the employee.min hours. It says for a non-static. All right, so I'm going to go back to here to my employees, and I'm going to try to put static in front of each one of these. Typically, I don't think it matters if you stay static public or public static. I don't think it matters one way or the other. All right, I'm going to see if that's going to allow me to do this. There, employee.min hours, employee.max hours, employee.min h rate, and employee.max h rate. Good. All my errors are gone. So I was able to do that. That's great. Now, the next thing I want to do here is, as mentioned, so I don't need these, so I'm going to get rid of them now. I am going to create a global variable right here. So I'm going to put in here declare and initialize class variable. And that's going to be that list that we mentioned before. So I can grab that from here. I had it, but now I can copy it again and paste it in. There we go. And notice it is recognizing employees, so that's good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to come in here. I don't need the list box anymore. I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to copy this. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I don't really need that employee number anymore, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. I don't care. So I'm going to grab these 5 fields here, copy and paste, and unlock this. Move that up. In fact, I'm going to move these here, and I'm going to move these here. That looks pretty good as far as I can tell. All right. Darn it. Oh, that was on me. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay. All right, looks okay. So I'm going to lock this back up again. All right, and then this will become, I'm going to change all of these. They don't have names yet anyway, and neither do these. So I'm going to change them right now. And I will call them total employees. So this will be LBL, total employees. See if I made this. Probably isn't wide enough to hold total employees. Let's make this a little wider than it is. All right, and we'll do the same with these. Looks about right. I'm just eyeballing it, but that's fine as far as I'm concerned. All right, so this is LBL, total employees, and I want to put there total employees. This will be TXT, total employees. All right. The next one is, whoops, wrong one. Sorry. The next is total gross pay, then low gross pay, high gross pay. So this is total gross pay. So this is LBL, total gross pay. And the text will be total gross pay. Make that O lowercase, sorry. All right, this will be TXT, total gross pay. All right. This is what was it, low pay? Low gross pay and high gross pay. So this next one here, this one will be low gross pay. And this will be TXT, low gross pay. This will be high gross pay. And it'll say just that. This will be TXT, high gross pay. And finally, this will be LBL AVG gross pay. And it'll say AVG gross pay. And this will be TXT AVG gross pay. So I believe, I could, of course, as always, be mistaken, but I believe that everything is cool. So I am going to take and move these. I'll move that one here. I'll move that one here. Cut this down just a tad, like that. And this one actually doesn't look bad right where it is. All right, let's double check and make sure that all of our controls have been renamed. There's a lot of them. And it looks like they all have. All right, now let's come in here. These will be read-only fields. So let's set the read-only on there to true. All right. And let's set the accept button to BTN calculate, the cancel button to BTN clear. Let's make sure it's center screen, and it is. And let's set the tab order. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Getting to be a pretty big form. So, view tab order. Again, 0, 1, 2, 3 for the stuff and 4, the stuff we can enter. 5, 6, and 7 for our buttons. Then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. File, save all. File or view tab order. All right, now calculate. It's giving me this LST results because we had that, adding that stuff to the list box. We don't do that anymore. All right, but let's see if instead of adding it to the list box, let's see if we can add it to the employee list. All right, so we call this employees. .add. All right, it says we cannot convert from a string to this. Don't know if it'll take this or not. I don't know if that'll work. All right, but the other thing we want to do then is we want to come in here and put in a message box. So we have a show. It's still called error message. That's okay. And we will put in here I'm going to see if I can put in employee. This may not work. Again, current employee. right, the semicolon there. Doesn't seem to like this. Cannot convert. Now this one may have to be a .2 string. All right, let's see if it works. So let's add a couple. I'll put in my family members. All right, Jeff Scott. All of that looks like it worked. I could use very much use after each one of these a \n, and these aren't being filled up yet, and that's okay. We'll fix that. First, let's go to the employee, and where we are printing that out right here at the end. There we go. There. So we've got the first name and the last name, \n. Oops. Now we can say employee number and a \n. And now we can say hours worked. This is big, but it's an interpolated string, so it's expecting it to be on the same line. Hourly rate. And after hours worked, we want another \n. Hourly rate with another \n. And then finally, gross pay. All right, so I've changed that. We have not yet added it to our high and low and average, etc. We'll do that in a minute. I want to see if this works first. So again, me. All right, that looks pretty decent. I could put name in there, that's fine. Employee number, hours worked, hourly rate, gross pay. That looks good. Let's clear it. I'll put my wife in there. See if the overtime is working, and it is. Okay, so I just have to finish this up, which isn't really that much to do. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put in here just name. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, I'm going to add some global variables up here at the top. Okay, not in the employee, but in my form itself. Okay, so I'm going to, they'll now become class variables. Okay, and I'm going to come in here and say decimal. In fact, let's just do it in order. And so I need variables for each one of these. Total employees, gross pay, low gross, high gross, average gross. Those 5 fields. So int total employees, we'll set that equal to 0. Decimal, we'll call it total gross. And we'll set that equal to 0.00 m. Decimal, I know there was, high gross. Decimal low gross. And decimal AVG gross. All right, those are all variables that I'm about to use in just a minute. Now, right now, as you can see, they are grayed out because they're not being used in the program itself. So when I get in here, if it was valid, one of the first things that I can do after I create a new employee, all right, is I can come in here and I can say ++ total employees. Okay. And I can, I can also put in there txt total employees dot text equal total employees dot toString. All right. I can also, let's see, I got my total employees. I can add, so I can say total gross plus equal gross pay. I've already doing the employee dot gross pay here. I wonder if I can just do that. Let's comment it out there and let's put it in here. All right. And it's saying it cannot be applied to operands of decimal and void. In other words, this wasn't returning anything. All right. What if I did this? What if I just said, well, I'm going to get the same error. So it is doing the gross pay. So I can come back into here. I can go back into my employee class. And I don't think I'm returning anything. I am, but no, that's hours worked. I'll make that a decimal. So I'll return the gross pay. So when I get done, return gross pay. Okay. And let's come back in here. And now we should be able to do that, as you can see. All right, so I don't need this here anymore. So I've got my total gross, and I can put that in there too. So txt total gross pay dot text equals total gross dot toString, and let's format that for currency. So we've got those two done. Let's see if those are working. All right, then we'll worry about the other three. So save all. Okay, John Doe 12111 40 10. All right, one employee 400. That's good. Let's clear. Mary Smith 222 50 and 10. All right, 2 and 950, which is correct. So everything in here right now is working. I've got to do the low, I've got to do the high, and I've got to do the average. All right. So I'm going to come in here, and for my low gross, all right, when we start here, I'm going to set that equal to $1 million. And I'm going to set the high gross to negative $1 million. And I'm doing that because that means that the first time I come through here, it should set both the high gross and the low gross. It should reset them because anything that I do that's positive is going to beat this. Anything that I do that's less than $1 million is going to be lower than that. So I'm going to just do it all right in here. I could write another routine for this. I'm not. I'm saying that again. I could write another routine for this, but I'm not. So here, increment total employees and set associated text box. All right, here, increment total gross and set, not associated text bow, but, and set associated text box. I don't need that. Okay. Let's see. There's the gross pay. Well, here we're calculating the gross pay, and I might as well. That's actually now correct. So set the associated text boxes. That's now right. All right. Check for low gross pay. If found, update associated text box. All right, and I'll do that right here, but I'm also going to do the same thing, but check for high gross pay, and if found, update associated box. So this will be if let's see. Plus equal. I'm just going to make a variable in here that I'm just going to call gross pay. Just so I can use it inside of here. Set it equal to 0m. And let's play with these. Oops. It should work like that. There we go. So now I can come in here, and where we did this, right there, I'm going to say gross pay plus equal that. And then I'm going to say total gross plus equal gross pay. And I'm doing that so I can use it down here. If gross pay is less than low gross, then I've got a new low gross. So low gross equals gross pay, txt low gross pay equal low gross dot text, low gross dot to string, and again we'll do it to currency. That's got to be dot text. Okay, and we want to do a similar thing for the high. So if the gross is greater than the high gross, then the high gross equals the gross pay, and txt high gross pay is equal to high gross formatted to string. All right. Finally, so we've got, do we have an average gross that we put in up here? Yes, we do. And now we can use that. So I can come up here and calculate the average gross pay and update the associated text box. So AVG gross AVG gross equal the total gross divided by the total number of employees, and the txt AVG gross pay dot text is equal to AVG gross dot toString. I might be finished. I sure as heck hope so. It's been a long day. All right, so save all. Let's put in 3 employees. All right, so we'll put in John Doe. He worked 50 hours and he makes $10 an hour. So $5.50. 1 employee, it's the total, it's the low, it's the high, it's the average, which it should be, and it's printing out here. Of course, I spelled Doe wrong, but that's okay. Mary Smith, she will be number 234, She worked 40 hours and she makes $25 an hour. So this should change to 1,550. That should stay. That should go to 1,000. And this should go to like 775 or something like that. All right, 40, 50, 1,002, 1,550. Everything looks great so far. All right, let's put in one more. So I'm going to clear one more time. And we'll put in Ralph Melf. You're familiar with Happy Days 333. And he worked 80 hours and he makes $50 an hour. In fact, let's do this. Let's say he only makes $2 an hour. All right, and that'll give us a new low in here. It should of 160. Oh, he did work some overtime. So 40 hours, that's 200. That's 120 plus 80, 200. That is correct. So 3 employees, 1,550 and 200 is 1,750. And there's the low. There's the high. 1,750 divided by 3 gives you 583. So we're done. Now I'm going to recreate this tomorrow for you in class. All right, I'm going to use the exact same one I have right here. And when I get done, I will put that out there on the system. All right, it'll be out there. And now it's called Employee OOP 2. I think I'm just going to see if I can change the name of the folder to Employee. How about to Chapter 12 Employee Pretest. Okay, that should work just fine. Do a little bit of quick cleanup here. Those are the ones I did yesterday. These are the ones I think that I'm going to do. Yes, they are. The bank login and the tile estimate. All right, I'm finished. So I've done 3 videos today. This last one is short. It's only about a half an hour. Totally fine with me. I'm going to put all these out there. You will get an email from me on this tomorrow morning. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow, Thursday, March 7th. Thanks.